They say Earth was a mistake. A noisy, unstable planet filled with creatures too wild to tame. The stars ignored us. The Watchers turned away. To them, we were dangerous, but too disorganized to fear. They didn't see what we were becoming, or what was waiting to wake. It began beneath the oceans. Not with a warhead or a scream, but a vibration. A deep pulse, steady and slow, like a heartbeat returning. For centuries, it slept under the crust, hidden beneath tectonic plates and mountain ranges. Older than language, older than DNA waiting. And when it came alive, everything changed. Animals howled without cause. Storms formed and held their shape for weeks. People began to dream the same dream, of fire, of light, of a face not their own, staring back from a mirror. Then came the children. A boy in Kenya who couldn't speak, suddenly reciting star coordinates no telescope had ever recorded. A girl in Peru who walked into the forest and disappeared, only to return 5 days later glowing with light and covered in symbols no human had written. A teen in Detroit who screamed in his sleep and shattered every glass window within 4 city blocks. Doctors were confused. Governments denied it. The internet was flooded with fake videos. But somewhere, deep underground, the old bloodlines stirred. Because this wasn't evolution, it was activation. We weren't born, we were built, not by accident, not by chance, but by something else, something older than fear, something that designed us to wait, to grow, to suffer, to survive, until the moment came to become something else. And that moment had arrived. The Watchers returned. The skies filled with observation drones. They weren't here to help. They were here to confirm the weapon had been triggered. Some tried to stop it, the old governments. The ones who sold pieces of our code to keep their place on top. But they couldn't kill what was now awake. It wasn't one person. It wasn't one bloodline. It was all of us. Every human carried a piece, a shard of ancient potential, buried in our skin, our bones, our dreams. Some resisted it. They held onto the old world, money, flags, power, but others, they leaned in and remembered. We remembered the heat of the stars before we had names. The blueprints buried in the songs of whales. The whisper in our veins when we stood on mountaintops. The ache we called pain was actually awakening. And then it happened. One human stood at the center of the crater, the original site, the core, the birthplace of the design, and spoke a word no one had ever said. Not in this tongue, not on this world. In the sky, bent, space listened. The sun paused, and the Watchers fled. They had waited too long. The fuse they planted had lit, and we were no longer a species. We were no longer prey. We were the final protocol, the backup plan, the storm, the vengeance, the human weapon. Now we rise.